The world's biggest company, BlackRock, has gone crazy. Online, there is more and more proof that BlackRock is interested in XRP Ripple, and they are currently buying millions of XRP coins. But why should they do this? Get ready, because some experts think that the price of XRP Ripple could go through the roof and reach 122,580. Wow, that's really cool, right? Ripple paid the SA a $50 million fine to end the case, which had been going on for years. Now that this is over, we can finally close a chapter that made the future of XRP look bleak. Let's start right away and take things one step at a time. Please also note that the case in court between Ripple and the SA is now over. Money that is digital. There is a lot of talk that big Wall Street firms like BlackRock and Fidelity are getting ready to apply for an XRP ETF. Bitcoin spot ETFs are regulated financial products that let investors buy shares that represent an asset like gold stocks or cryptocurrencies without actually holding that asset. When an ETF is accepted, it gets more demand and the attention of big investors. BlackRock is the world's biggest asset manager, and if they go ahead with their XRP ETF, it will change the way people use Bitcoin in a big way. Institutional investors were able to join the crypto industry soon after Ethereum, which made this year's approval very important. Use the coin as money. Nate Jassy, head of the ETF store, said, "I expect BlackRock, Fidelity, and other players to be involved in terms of market value. A lot of big businesses in FS will pay attention to the fact that XRP is the third most popular non-stable coin." Some people think BlackRock is getting ready to join the XRP market. In a tweet, Yosim Skyler, supposedly BlackRock had 16 billion XRP coins. If this is true, then BlackRock is likely buying XRP in secret before submitting an ETF application, which would make things even more interesting. A crypto enthusiast said that BlackRock and JP Morgan were changing the price of XRP to make more money, but there is no proof to back up this claim. However, it wouldn't be surprising if big banks were buying XRP on purpose. While the market was focused on regulatory issues, Loki's other post hints that BlackRock's XRP ETF filing is almost finished, and that private talks with regulators have already begun. Because of its past, BlackRock was one of the first companies to buy Bitcoin spot ETF, so it wouldn't be a surprise if they were getting ready. BlackRock plans to do the same thing by putting an amazing $9 trillion into XRP. This is one of the craziest stories going around in the world of cryptocurrencies. The story that Ado Farina told is hard to confirm, but the market would be shocked if even a small amount of that money moved into XRP. Even though this number is probably too high, it does show that more and more people think XRP is about to make a big move. Pressure from institutions. BlackRock isn't just any investment. It's the world's biggest asset manager with power over trillions of dollars. If it works, it could make XRP very valuable and trustworthy. These stories about ETFs coming out at the same time are not a coincidence. The SEC has pretty much given up on its case against Ripple, which means an XRPF can be rules that are easier to understand than before. Judge Analisa Stewart Alder, Ripple's chief legal officer, said that the decision by Tor showed that XRP is not always a security. This is a big move because it puts XRP in the same group as Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are already at TS. As soon as the rules are clear, XRP shouldn't have much trouble getting the TF status. Next big thing that comes out. You also know that when big companies like BlackRock and Fidelity start to look at XRP, something big will happen. But what is that big thing? Let's just say that the numbers being used are crazy. If these stories about ETFs are true, they could change the way money works in a way that has never been seen before. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? Wait a minute, you won't know how big this could get until people in the know say it. Some people who study financial models say that each XRP token could be worth as much as $60,000 or even $1,580. That doesn't seem possible, does it? On the other hand, many people have investors who stayed in the market during the storm, are now seeing a market where institutional interest is growing very quickly. Jack the Rippler said with confidence that keeping XRP will make you rich for generations. They don't just believe Forbes, they know it's true. For a long time, investors thought that XRP was the underdog because it was misunderstood, undervalued, and slowed down by regulation uncertainty. Thinks that the price of XRP could hit $60,000. This seems very high at first, but it's not so impossible when I think about how quickly tokenization is changing things, how much demand there is from institutions, and the possibility of an XRP ETF. XRP has already shown that it can make people very happy. In 2017, it went up by 67,000% and made people rich. There are experts who think the same thing will happen again soon. One trader, for example, thinks that a Trump pump of 67,000 per share in 2017 is likely to happen. It's possible that the price of XRP will go up even more than everyone thought it would, but there is a prediction that is even more optimistic. Valhill Capital's collateralization plan says that XRP, if certain conditions are met, each ticket could be worth $580 on the market, which is equal to 122,000 Bitcoin. The idea behind this approach is that all assets like commodities, stocks, and real estate will be turned into tokens and stored on blockchain networks. By dividing the world's wealth by the amount of XRP in circulation, the model comes up with an amazing figure. The world's wealth is thought to be $530 quadrillion, and tokenized assets could hit $6.2 quadrillion by 2030. This is a mathematical projection based on the idea that XRP will be used for tokenized transactions around the world and play a big part in the banking system. However, some people don't agree with this. Even the most pessimistic experts think that the price of XRP will rise by 600%, which is still a big jump for many buyers when you look at the numbers.